Hello again, and it's time for another project. Nothing too complicated today. Today we're going to cut out this bull head. I literally just searched online for bull head template, and this one popped up. It's in 4 pieces. Here's the next piece, and obviously you're going to have a pair of horns. So there will be our horns. So it'll be a nice good size when it's finished. The actual head itself and the horns, they're 1.5 inches thick. Just wood I've had lying around. Couldn't even tell you what kind of wood it is. But it was free wood. And for me personally, that's the best wood to use. Now to get the actual template itself cut out to size, I actually use my laptop or tablet and place the tracing paper on top, and you can literally just zoom out to the size you want. The fencing wood I normally use is 6 inches across, and the screen on my tablet is 5.5. So I just zoom out, and I know that will just fit in there nicely. And it is possible to put your tracing paper on top of your tablet and draw around it. That way you've got the exactly same size you want, and the same with the head. And then we literally just put carbon paper underneath. Good old carbon paper. You want a nice fresh piece. You place that underneath, stick your template down, and literally just draw that around that with a pen, and that will transfer the image. And regarding to the horns themselves, obviously we drew around that one, popped it in reverse, and drew around that one. So for me, I'm going to cut it out on a scroll saw. A bandsaw might be easy in the corner there, and I've tried it. But for me personally, I'm just going to go nice and steady on a scroll saw. That way we're not going to make mistakes. And the idea, when it's all done, I'll show you quickly. On this section here, I'll just glue 2 pieces together. We've had that in a clamp for a day or 2. That's nice and solid. I won't even bother sanding that down at this moment. Remember, we're going to put the top section on there, and that will cover that joint up nicely. But if I can just show you quickly the end effect that we want. So we will have the head itself there. That will be on the back section, and obviously we will have 2 horns. They will just fit in there nicely. There's one on the other side, and then this piece itself, that will fit over the old section like so. I don't know if you can just about see it from there. So that would be the full piece finished. Some nice pair of horns. Obviously we'll see as we cut it all out. And then we might use a router just to round off these edges, or we might even get a nice sander or angle grinder to give it a nice bit of shaping, and especially on the horns themselves. Like I say, it's nice and thick, so it's going to be slow to cut, but you can cut this out on a scroll saw. Now for me personally, I use spiral blades, and it will be a Pegas number 5 today. Does it need to be this one? It's not going to be a complicated cut, and there's certainly no side, but spirals will cut in any direction. Or you could use the standard good old pin blade. These are on your more cheaper saws. They do have that pin at either end. That will cut out no problem, because there's nothing too complicated. And for more professional ones, they will use these pinless blades. That just might be a bit slow on that one. And you have a fancy clamp on either side. Remember, your teeth want to be smooth on the way down and rough on the way up. For me, unfortunately, with my old Draper scroll saw in the corner there, I have to use these adapter clamps. And you pop your blade in there, a little Allen key, tighten it up, and you would hook that on top and bottom like it's a pin blade. So Pegas number 5 spiral for me. It will be a slow process, but we're in no rush today. So let's get our first pieces on the scroll saw, and we can start cutting this one out, and we'll see what it looks like. Right, so we've got our Pegas number 5 spiral blade in the scroll saw. You can see those adapter clamps there, and they're okay once you get used to them. But if you are going to purchase a saw, I recommend you have one that puts the clamps that come with it, that takes pinless blades basically. This one only takes pin blades, and our spirals are pinless. We have to use this little clamp. So we've got it in the saw. We've got a nice ping, ping, ping. We've took the tension up. We're ready to cut. We're going to do the easy one first. The fencing wood, that's on 1/2 inch. That cuts no problem. I use that all the time. And then we're coming nice and steady with our thicker stuff there. Remember, that's 1.5 inches thick. That's going to go slowly, but it will cut it out, I'm sure. Okay, let's cut out the smaller of the two pieces. Right, you can see from that, the smaller 1/2 inch one, that cut out no problem. I'm quite happy with spiral blades, they're all I use. People do complain about the wood not being as smooth, but I've got no issues with that. The only thing you do find, there's not a lot on this one to be honest, but these little fuzzy bits, and with a bit of sandpaper, they're gone in seconds. So don't let people put you off by saying you don't get a smooth cut, because I personally think that's fine. But there again, I've not used a lot of normal blades, so I probably don't know what a fantastic cut is, but they certainly work for my projects. Right, there's the front piece done. Now we'll try this one. Okay, there's a piece that was 1.5 inches thick. That was nice and steady, but you can see from that there's plenty of dust in there, but the cut itself, by the time we've sanded and played about with that, that'll be fine. And there's a back piece, those little nodules off, we'll soon sand those off. So that will be the face done, the head should we say, and eventually that piece will fit on there like so, hopefully, and then we just incorporate the horns fastened in on the back there. So let's do the horns next. Okay, there's one of our horns cut out. Just nice and steady. They are good thickness, these, remember. But hopefully when we've shaped them all off and played about with the sander and the router and angle grinder, whatever we can find, hopefully it'll look a little bit better. Okay, I'll cut the other one off camera because it's basically the same thing, and then we'll put it all together roughly, just give an idea what we're looking for. Right, so we've cut those 4 sections out. We've not touched them with any sandpaper or anything yet, so they're still nice and powdery. As you can see, this will look totally different again once we give it a nice clean up. So basically, there will be the main head of the bull himself. He's obviously going to require a couple of horns. They've cut out just as easy. So there will be one that will sit on there like so, and obviously the one I cut off camera, that will sit there like so. So we've got a nice shape going there, and we just need the actual front section just to finish it off, and hopefully that will sit on there and cover that up like so. So there you have it, nice big chunky hornsy should I say, nice cow hornsy. But anyways, so a lot of sanding, a lot of shaping, round these off slightly, not too much. We want to keep a good thickness to it. Not too sure about giving them any eyes. We might find some beer bottle tops or something we can pop in there just for the funny side of things, see how it looks. But if not, we'll leave it just as it is. But quite a lot of work to do yet as regards to sanding. Let's do that next. Right, that's enough sanding down and general tidying up for me. In the end, I just went with the mouse sander and basically just did all 4 pieces, one of these old things. You can see we've worn it out in there, and that's to round all the edges off and do all the sides as well. Now originally on this project, I did mention about routing the sides, and I have a box full of these tricks, and it would have been a simple case of finding one of these edgy ones. They have a little bearing wheel there, and that basically runs alongside your wood inside the router, and that would have rounded it off certainly a lot easier and probably a lot better than what it is. But we didn't go for it in the end, we just left it. So plenty of toys there to play with on another project. So we've got the main headpiece done there, and also we did the same with both horns. That would simply just sit up there like so. They've been rounded off just the same, and they're nice and smooth. They're certainly near enough what we need today. And I suppose depending on what kind of cattle you want, can't see why there's no reason why you couldn't actually turn them around the opposite way like that, depending on where you're from, what kind of beast you are into. So they will sit on there like so. And then we have the face piece. Exactly the same with that, just rounded it off nicely. And I went around with a flexi cable on a Dremel with a little sanding drum just to make it a bit smoother and just to round off those edges. You could spend a lot more time on this if you wanted to, but for me personally, we're near enough. Now originally that would be the end of the project. We'll put a bit of stain on there, glue it all together, and a bit of varnish. But I did find a piece of brass piping like so. So I spent a good 10 minutes plus making some kind of circle. It's not perfect, and I've just seen on the little video there, we've got the little Dremel again, just to make a little groove in the back for that to sit in, and that will sit nice and flush on the piece like so. Now for the eyes, I did go and find some eyes. Now they're quite comical, and I suppose you could leave them on if you wish. They're just these little plastic things. I think it just looks hysterical when they're on there like that. Just brings him to life straight away, doesn't it? But for me personally, that was just a little bit of fun thing, and you could stick them on there, no problem. So I just got myself a bit of scrap wood left over from the project, cut round one of the original eyes, cut that piece out, then split it into two, all on the scroll saw, and then use a Dremel with a bit of sander, and we've basically just made wooden buttons like so. And I'm just going to pop those in. It looks a bit more menacing as soon as they go in, like so. Right, so that's all the hard work done. All we need to do now is look at what kind of stain or oils we're going to use, and then basically we're going to glue it all together. We might put some nice screws into the top section there just to hold those in place, but before that, let's see what kind of staining, what kind of colour we're going to use to finish this project off. Right, colouring time. Now you could have left it just like that and just sprayed a bit of varnish on the old piece. Good old boiled linseed oil, which is one of my favourites. But those who's watched my previous videos, I've still got a bit of dark teak left, so I'm going to use that for the back section there. So this will be nice and dark, and I'm going to use good old boiled linseed. We've not seen this for a while. There's just a little bit left in there, so we're going to use that. Excuse me if it stands up somewhere. We'll use that for the main top section. So boiled linseed oil for that, and the dark teak for that piece, and then we'll see what they look like. I do have a light teak for these, or I'm just tempted just to leave these and just allow the spray varnish itself just to darken them down a bit. At one time I was going to really round these off and whiten them down and actually paint them white, but I think I'm just going to leave that grain there to show through. Right, let's throw on this bit of stain and stuff, and then we'll get heading towards gluing it all together, and we'll see what it's like when it's finished. Let's pop a bit of stain on first. Right, there's all our staining done. It's all nicely dried. We popped a bit on the back for some reason. I'm not really concerned about how that looks. This will be going against a fence, so we're not going to see any of that. And obviously it doesn't matter about that piece here. That's all covered over with the nose piece, as we're going to call it. So there's our dark teak on the main head itself. In the end, good old boiled linseed oil on these. Just give them a soaking. I'm quite happy with all this wood grain showing through. I think that just adds to the overall piece itself. So that will be glued in there. Originally I was going to put some screws down there, but I think it's thick enough, chunky enough, that wood glue wood glue will keep it all in place. And obviously there's the other one as well, so they'll fit on there nicely. We'll glue all this section first like so, get some clamps on somehow, clamp it all in, leave that for a day or so, let it all set solid, and then we'll come back and put on the top piece here, which obviously will fit like that. Glue that down exactly the same, not forgetting to pop our little ring there into that little groove there we made before, remember? In fact, we'll pop that on now just to give you the idea. So that will fit like that, and then with the linseed oil again, basically just two eyes just to finish it off with, and that will be our project done. Once it's all nicely glued and set solid, we'll come over with some varnish just to spray on. Normally I'd spray first. No reason why you can't spray a bit of varnish on there first and then glue that one afterwards. But for now, let's just glue the horns to the face with just standard wood glue. And I'll clamp it up and then we'll see what we've come back with. Right, there's our first section clamped up. We'll just leave that now. Once that's nicely set, stuck together hopefully, then we will come in, remember, literally glue this exactly the same, and we'll pop that on there and stick that in, and hopefully that will secure that to that a little bit more better. Right, so we've left that for a good day. Now hopefully we can remove these clamps like so. So that's them done with now, and hopefully that's all stuck together nicely. It looks a bit rough and ready there. Alice just got some woodwork glue and plenty of sawdust, like so. Just mix it in and we'll just fill that in as a filler. That doesn't matter to us. We're going to give it a spray over afterwards, and remember the front of that is going to cover all those nasty joints. So that is the next case then. The next thing to do is simply just going to glue that on there. Let's not forget, put our little ring inside there. So we'll pop the ring in, find that slot, glue that all down. We'll get some clamps on that again, and then we'll find and glue the eyes down as well. Right, there's our last piece all glued in. So we'll leave this for 24 hours, come back, remove all our clamps. We're going to spray some varnish on. That's just the way I like to finish my projects, and then this one will be finished. We'll come back tomorrow and see what we've got. Right, it's the next day. We shall remove the clamps, and hopefully, if you can get them off, he says, everything will be nicely stuck together. There we go. I'll just remove those to one side. And there we go. Nice and solid. Everything's all stuck down. It's more or less near enough for what we want. Now the next stage for me, Liz is going to pop some varnish on. I just feel it just finishes the project off. Just before that though, we will remove this dust. And that ring's still got enough to flip about if it wants to do what it wants to do. So that's our little clean up. It's a nice sunny day today, so we'll start off in here just to show you. That's just to keep it off the table. Now the dark teak, that just come up really nice once it's... I'll put some light on there. How's that looking? No, we'll go with that for now. We're going to go outside and spray it. So it's awfully dark, is that, isn't it? There we go. 151 today for this one. So we're just going to spray it all. We'll see how that comes nice and dark. There's that section there. And we'll just do the full piece, no messing about. We'll go outside, get all those side sections done. And then when we come back, this little project will be finished. Right, that's it. This little project is finished. Now I've given it 3 or 4 coats of the 151 varnish. Let's give it a really nice shine, as you can see from that. And that's plenty enough for our want on this fun project. Basically just to go outside somewhere. I'm sure I'll find a spot for it. So it measures in at 20 inches across from there. The head face itself, the skull bit, that is 11 inches. And we stained it with dark teak for the darker section there. And good old linseed oil for the rest of it, basically. Full piece. And the horns themselves. And remember, we cut it out with a Pegas number 5 spiral blade. Just my preference for those. The back piece was a good 1.5 inches thick. So we've got plenty of thickness on there. And the horns. And that was 3/4 of an inch, if I remember rightly. And then we just popped in some eyes. And we made a little ring there for the nose. We're not overly concerned about the back section, should I say. This will be going on a fence itself, or even on a gate or wall. So nobody's going to see the back section. So that's it. This little project is finished. Nice bull skull horns template, cut out with a Pegas number 5 spiral blade on the scroll saw. Thank you very much for watching.